This is Herb Grosinger again. I'm finishing up on the Boston police strike that Calvin Coolidge, as governor of Massachusetts, was very much part of history. As I mentioned, the Boston police force was unorganized. There was a great deal of strife. There were strikes and anarchism in the 1919s after World War I. However, the Boston policemen had no contract, no raise increases since 1882, and here it is, 1919. So they organized themselves together, and there were 19 leaders of this strike, and they immediately called a walkout. But the police commissioner at the time, Curtis, had them fired. And when that happened, there was a general strike. 1,100 policemen walked off the job because their working conditions were horrendous. They were making $25 a week, working 70 hours a week. They had to buy their own uniforms, they had to buy their own weapons, and they practically lived in the station houses and made their own food, and the living conditions were a health hazard. So as a result, the city was in chaos. You had not only vandalism, you had demonstrations, you had a general lawlessness that was going on. So the mayor of Boston, Peters, his name was, he immediately called the governor, who was Governor Coolidge, and asked him to come down, and he wanted to have the National Guard called out. He brought out the State Guard, but when Coolidge got there, Coolidge said, well, he didn't see anything that would warrant the National Guard to be called out. Peters immediately confronted him and said, Governor, you came into the best neighborhood. You should see what's going on in the rest of the city. Well, Coolidge said, well, let it rest and we'll see what happens in a few days. At that point, Peters became enraged and actually attacked Coolidge and punched him in the face twice, once in the eye and once in the face. Coolidge was stunned, and the next day, Coolidge called out the National Guard, and once he called out the National Guard, within a day or so, 2 days, things had settled down. In the confrontation between Coolidge and the mayor of Boston, Peters, Peters said to Coolidge, Governor, it's on your conscience what's happening in this city. Coolidge said to him, but Mayor, it's on your ledger. You are the mayor of Boston. It's on your ledger. As a result, there was a press conference, and the press conference, after Coolidge said that the public employees must never strike against the public. It's against the public's interest. It should never happen. That message went out throughout the country. The Republican Party was completely invigorated with Coolidge's stand. And at a press conference, Coolidge also gave a description of what was going on. And then one reporter asked Coolidge, she said, Governor, where did you get that black eye? Coolidge looked at him and looked around and said, this conference is over, and walked out. I'm now going to go into the convention of 1920, where Harding, as a long shot, became elected president, and they decided, because Coolidge's stand as a conservative Republican, he would be perfect as a vice presidential nominee. Thank you.